My name is Dennis Rafkin.
You're Dennis Rafkin?
Who's Dennis Rafkin?
My office warned me about this guy.
I know it's gonna sound completely whacked, all right? But just stay with me. I used to hunt displaced spiritual energies with your uncle. I'm sorry? PK agents, revenants, like wraiths. Do you have any idea what I'm talking about? That's okay. I'll do this the easy way. Ghosts. Arthur, I used to hunt ghosts with your uncle Cyrus. Goats? Ghosts! Ghosts, God! Listen to me!
Welcome back, everybody, to the Film Bros Podcast. My name is Isaiah Lucas, and I am joined by my co-hosts,
Abraham
and Nick.
How you guys doing tonight?
I'm glad to be here and not anywhere else.
I understand completely.
Yeah.
It was a long day today.
It was a Monday. Tough day for you guys.
It was a
Yeah.
Monday.
First of the month. Wake up.
It's the first week of the month, so typically grocery stores are busy the first of the month, and
Yep.
today was absolute chaos, and it was busy literally my whole shift.
Yeah.
Felt like I couldn't catch a break.
Yeah, same. I was just nonstop, just
Go.
go. Take lunch.
Yeah.
Go. And yeah. So I feel you. And I like whenever I have some fast-paced days, but like when it's like breakneck speed, sometimes I'm like, dude, I'm just ready to go home.
Where I work is usually pretty cold, and I was sweating today.
Oh, okay.
I was just going and going. It was
Yeah.
It was a lot today.
What about you, my guy?
Dude, regular day. Just regular. I didn't have I'm the kind of job that is like pretty consistent when
Yeah.
it comes to workload. So I just went in and did my stuff and left.
Nice.
It did go fast. I actually, have been really looking forward to coming here and talking to you guys.
Yeah,
Just
same.
because I'm so ready to just talk and laugh and talk about this movie that is like my childhood pretty much. I remember loving it. I don't know about you guys. Have you guys watched this as a
This
kid?
is like my third or fourth watch, and I remember liking this movie.
This is my first.
Oh, man.
So
you
I
don't
have
have
to
any nostalgia.
No. So I have to say, like, I know this movie because of its cover.
Yes.
And the cover is very nostalgic in my mind because when I was a child, and I lived in Fresno at the time, we would always go to this Blockbuster near where I lived. And on every Friday night, we would go to Blockbuster. We would rent a movie, or my parents would rent a movie. They would let me rent a movie. And then we would pick up Hungry Howie's Pizza in Fresno, which was like this like cheap pizza that you could get for like a pretty big pie. And I remember my parents would always find something that they wanted to watch, and then they would let me rent something, and I would always rent like the same like Sonic the Hedgehog cartoons, or like I watched this other cartoon called Street Sharks, which like when I bring it up to people, they have no idea what I'm talking
I don't know
about.
what
It
you're
does
talking
not
about.
sound familiar
But-
at all.
But it's
Street
like
Sharks?
Yeah, it was sick. I loved it.
What?
Or like I rented this like G.I. Joe movie all the time.
I've never seen this.
It was sick. I love Street Sharks. But I would always rent those. But this is the way that this layout of the Blockbuster was. And I feel like they did this on purpose. But in order to get to the kids section of the movies or like the animation, you had to go through the horror.
Oh, yeah.
And being the scared little kid that I was, like I was just scared of anything and everything. Even walking through the horror aisle and seeing the covers to some of these movies scared me. And I remember like specifically seeing like Child's Play and like Scream, Halloween, and this one specifically 13 Ghosts. And I remember looking at the cover and like seeing like how like all the little pictures made up one big picture.
Mm-hmm.
And I was always just like, that movie looks terrifying. and I never watched it until now. So
That's crazy.
yeah,
You
it's
know-
me confronting childhood trauma.
We're proud of you.
Yeah.
This is super off topic, but you said you got scared going through horror. And this is going to sound so dumb, but anytime Halloween would come around, I would get scared going through the Halloween aisle.
Oh,
I would
me
cry.
too.
No, my older brother Sal would make me go through it like at Rite Aid or something. And he would purposely, like, grab something and scare me, and I would cry. Like, I was so scared. And I want to say I was scared until, like, I was a teenager, dude.
Yeah.
I
felt the same.
I still kind of avoid it to this day.
No, listen, this is why I was so scared was my parents, man, they messed me up. all parents do.
Yeah.
And when I was a little kid, like a small child, I lived in Fresno at the time, so, you know, more often than not, like my parents, we didn't really have a lot of money whenever I was growing up. So they would just take us to Toys R Us, and like we would just like walk around Toys R Us and look at the toys and play with the ones that you could, and then go home and eat dinner and stuff. And when it came to being like around Halloween time, the Toys R Us that was there, they always had a big Halloween section, and it was full of masks. And my parents would put masks on
and chase you guys
and chase me around in Toys R Us, and it would scare the hell out of me.
Yeah.
And listen to this. They thought it was hilarious. So they just kept doing it and doing it because of how scared I would get. And then here I am in Blockbuster, afraid to go through the horror aisle, and they're like, "What's wrong with you? Go pick a movie." And I'm like, "I don't want to look at the movies.
Like, I'm terrified.
Yeah,
you did this.
I'm scared."
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, man. Horror movies, they shape the way I do things now. Like, especially with Chucky. Whenever I was a kid, dude, I would shower. I think I've said this story before, but I would literally look in every single cabinet before I showered. I'm not kidding. I would look, and I'd be like, and every time I went pee, I got to look in the shower so he wasn't there. Like, I was absolutely terrified, and now I'm super analytical about what's in the bathroom with me. I got to check. I got to look.
That's how I felt with, because I'm still really afraid of spiders.
Oh, yeah.
But when I was a kid, it was so bad because we would get spiders in like the corners of the shower.
Dude,
and
tell me you don't feel so vulnerable when you're shampooing.
Yeah, and then I look up and I'm like, oh man, and I don't look away. The whole time I'm just like washing my body, washing my hair. I'm not looking away.
Dude, when it moves closer to you, you're like,
yeah, no, and like,
that's the most terrifying feeling.
For the longest time, anytime I walked into a bathroom or the shower, I look in all four corners, and I'm like, all right, I don't see anything. I'm good.
Dude,
and I'll shower. Like,
I'm not. My older brother used to watch like Ghost Hunters and stuff like that. So that's what scared the heck out of me. And like here now, call me a chump now. I'm freaking 23 years old. My house is dark at night. Catch me looking behind over my shoulders.
You got that dark stairway? Like,
dude, no. I mean, you guys too. You guys always like to scare each other.
That's true. That's true.
So a lot of the times when it's dark, you will catch me looking over my shoulder because I'll be like, make sure there's nothing there.
Yeah.
And when I was little, my older brother, we had just gotten done watching Ghost Adventures or Ghost Hunters when it was on Sci-Fi.
Oh, wow.
And he hid in a closet. And all he did was grab my leg and like made me fall.
Oh, my soul's leaving my body.
Bro, I want you to know that
white.
I didn't go to school the next day. And I cried for about 4 hours.
Even after like you figured out it was him?
Yeah.
Said,
that's funny,
my
dude.
mind is broken.
No, I can't do. There's some scary things that I can't do.
Yeah.
Is that the most scared you've ever been?
No, if you want the real most scared I've ever been is when I went to Mexico.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, that's like more real life stuff.
It was real life. This is real life.
Yeah.
That's like
I had some.
You're gonna be in your
strong
grave.
arms
Yeah.
pointed to my head.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking like scared, like somebody did something to you where you got scared, like Halloween type.
Oh, no.
Type stuff.
My brother again. He screamed in my ear when I was asleep. Like literally just.
I can imagine waking up going.
No, and I shook so bad. If you ask my brother Sal about it, he'd be like, "Oh yeah, I screamed in his ear." He thinks it's funny. I was in high school. I was in high school.
Oh, I would have loved to have seen that.
And that was the scariest scared I've ever been.
Man, I think the most afraid I've ever been was because of my freaking dad. And I think I may have told you guys this story before, but we had just watched Signs for the first time.
You saw that little alien?
Yes. And so I was terrified, right? And mind you, my dad says, "Oh, we should watch this movie when my mom isn't home." So my mom is like gone somewhere. I forget exactly what she was doing, but she was not home. I think she may have been on like a retreat or something. But She's not home. So my dad is like, oh, boys' night. We're going to eat pizza, ice cream, stay up and all this stuff. And we're like, oh, yeah. And he was like, oh, we're not playing video games. We're watching scary movies. And I was just like,
Man.
I don't want to, dude. I'm going to go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, no, if you go to sleep, I'm going to ground you.
What?
Yeah, you're forced.
And I was just like, this is bull crap. And he's like, okay, we're going to watch Signs. And so we watched Signs. And, you know, I watch it now. It's ridiculous.
I've never seen it.
But at the time, I was
Oh,
terrified.
yeah.
And so we finish up the movie. I'm scared. It's dark out now. And mind you, we lived in an area of town where, like, we're out by a lot of orchards. And we would always see the glow of the sweepers at night, like way off in the distance. And I remember my dad telling us, oh, there's UFOs out there. That's what those lights are and all this stuff. And so he's been building this. Like, it's been built. That, like, my fear of aliens was, like, built for a long time. So he shows us this movie. We finish it. And then afterwards, it's, like, late night TV. There's barely, like, any good stuff on except, like, UFO files.
Oh, my God.
And so he's like, oh, dude, look, there's a TV show about UFOs. Let's watch it. Oh, and then, like, the next one was like, oh, there's a show about people who say that they've been really abducted. And they give interviews. Let's watch it. And so we're sitting there watching all this sitting there watching all this UFO content, and I vividly remember this girl saying that she was abducted, and that she was pregnant at the time, and that whenever she was abducted, the aliens like took her baby from her out of her stomach and said, "No, this baby's mine." Yeah. And all this stuff. So I'm like terrified, thinking that like aliens are real, they're gonna abduct me and blah blah blah, all this stuff. And while we're sitting there watching this, my dad slowly slips away from us.
Oh, dude.
And exits the house, goes to the breaker panel of the house, and turns off all the power to the entire house. So our house is blacked out. And I'm thinking this guy's got like a power, like citywide thing, whole thing shut down. And mind you, too, in Signs, they say that like whenever the UFOs get close, all power gets shut off.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm immediately like, dude, what the hell is going on? I'm scared, right? And so all my brothers and I go run to my parents' room, and we're sitting there on their bed all huddled up, and we're like scared, listening for anything and everything. My dad goes in the backyard and starts getting a ton of these branches and starts scratching the windows.
Oh, dude.
And he's hearing us and watching us like be terrified and all this stuff. And then like he starts like throwing like things at the windows, making everything go dunk. And we're getting freaked out. And then finally he comes back in, and he's just laughing, just having the best time, thinking it was so funny. And meanwhile, we were like, that's not funny. You scared us, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And we told my mom afterwards. She was all mad at him and stuff. But now they look back on it and think it's hilarious. Yeah.
What scare you, man?
There's a bunch. The most recent one was, if you ever go to Santa Cruz, they got like a. You good? I didn't mean to scare you that hard.
Bro, this thing pulled out one of my mustache hairs, dude.
Okay. Santa Cruz has this like underground boardwalk thing.
Yes.
It's supposed to be haunted. That one scared me a lot. But as you were talking about old school stuff, the most scared I had ever been, it was when we had this cat, and his name was Mop. And he was a childhood R.I.P. He was a childhood animal. We loved him, and he was so fluffy and furry and just absolutely lovable. He'd always hug this couch like this with his, and we would joked around that we'd get him stuff like that after he died. The most lovable cat ever. But one day he was acting super weird and like really standoffish, and he didn't want to be close to anybody. I thought it was really weird. I didn't think anything of it. But as I was going to sleep, I promise you, I woke up and I heard just gurgling, like a cat gurgling in the corner of the room. And I tell you, I got, you know when you get so hot, you start to get cold and sweaty? Yeah. I was literally laying in my bed, and I convinced myself, if I move, I'm going to die. If I move, it's going to get me. Yeah. And I promise you, I was up the whole night, and I never moved a muscle, thinking the cat was going to get me.
You're in a coma.
No.
Sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
It probably was. I so vividly remember hearing the groans of this cat. It sounded like it was almost drowning.
Oh, wow.
Can I bring up something real quick?
What's up?
I don't hate me for this. But what caused you to kick the wall?
Oh, I did do that. Have you ever heard this story?
No.
I was having this so vivid dream about like it was like I was in like a world like Call of Duty map fighting against zombies for some reason, and like all my loved ones were dying. And I was literally deep REM sleep. And I finally got out the window. I was running to the car, and as I closed the door, a lady stopped me and was holding the door. So I leaned out and I kicked her. But in real life, I literally kicked the wall, and my toenail broke and fell off. Yeah.
That's funny.
But that was more like high octane.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've had dreams like that where like if things are intense, and like in your dream you go to punch somebody, but in real life I straight up go, whoa.
Yeah.
And I wake up and I'm like, I just punched, dude.
No, dude, like a week ago, I had a dream. I had just watched a TikTok. I just watched TikToks, and this lady was talking about how tarantulas are migrating and how they're crossing the road and stuff, and that she just got out of the car and picks one up.
Heck no.
And mind you, I like to sleep bundled up, so I had my blanket on me, and then in my dream, I thought a tarantula was on me, and I go and move like this, and I hit my wall, and the record falls off of my wall. But I remember vividly, I thought I had a tarantula in my hand, and I had to pull back so hard.
Yeah. I've had those dreams.
Yeah. They're intense, man.
Yeah.
They're scary.
I think those are the best ones, honestly.
Those are the ones I remember like all my life.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that lady trying to break in and get me out of that car.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that. There's one that I thought that I was skydiving and my parachute wouldn't get off, and I remember twitching and waking up.
That's a classic.
Yeah.
I hate those ones too.
Yeah, same. Well, with all that to say, scares and all, we're jumping into the Halloween season, so we thought we would spice things up with a few horror movies that are going to be coming down the line, especially with the next coming weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to start things off with Abe's pick, which was the 2001 film 13 Ghosts.
Yes, it is directed by Steve Beck, written by... There's 3 listed, so I wrote them all 3, which is Rob White, Neal Marshall Stevens, and Richard Diovido? I don't know.
Diovido? I don't know how to say it.
Sorry if we butchered it, but yeah, I wanted to choose this movie because I really didn't know what to pick for opening up the month, and I was like, this is a movie that we've talked about, but I know it's bad now.
Okay.
And so why not have a good time and watch this movie and just see what you guys think about it?
Yeah.
Okay. So I didn't know that this is actually a remake
I didn't know that either.
of
It's
a
a
movie
remake.
that came out in like the 60s, right?
I think it came out in 70-something.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, I did not know that. I was very surprised to hear that they thought that was good enough to remake, and then they produced this.
Yeah. Yeah, and I saw one interesting thing about the original of the film, which it had to have been like right when like 3D glasses and stuff were coming out.
Yeah, it says 1960s.
Okay.
It came out in 1960, excuse me. Yes.
But I believe that
Zorba is the last name of the family.
okay.
Weird.
And in the original movie of the film, people who watched the movie had to have a specific set of glasses to see the ghosts.
That's kind of cool.
That is kind of
Yeah,
cool.
and that was something where I was like, now that's really cool.
Yeah.
Like that's very innovative, and I can see like that being a big event for someone, for just cinema in general, or for moviegoers, and being like, dude, this is insane. It was scary. You can only see the ghosts whenever you take the glasses on or off, and all that stuff. And I thought that was immediately super cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then I watched this movie. And then and I'm watching it, and all the freaking 2000s jump cuts and slow motion.
It's constantly like you're taking on and off the glasses. You're just getting flashed with the ghosts here and there.
Yeah. So I'm excited to talk about it. It's something that I've never thought I would watch in a million years, and I gotta say it was fun while it was on. So I'm happy to talk about it. But if you haven't seen it, it's not streaming anywhere currently.
Fortunately.
Yeah, when you would think with a classic like this, it would be like on Netflix or something, but unfortunately it's not. So you got to rent if you don't own it. And I'd recommend checking it out if you want, just a mindless watch where you're just going to be entertained, or you want something to laugh at. Or if you're the type of guy where or type of person where you love a good bad movie.
Mm-hmm.
And or like bad movies are like your thing. Like I think of like a Moist Critical, and like his love for bad movies and like trying to find the worst movie like ever.
Has he done this one?
I don't know. It would be interesting to find out if he has. I think it should be up there for sure. But yeah, definitely give it a watch if that's something that you haven't done or that's something that interests you.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you want to start us off with your first favorite scene, Abe?
I don't have one.
Okay.
No favorite scenes. Okay, if you don't, I wanted to talk about the introduction. How insane is it to start a film like this?
Bro,
Yeah, it was freaking wild. It starts like an action film.
it starts like an action film, but there's some parts of that beginning that just make me laugh.
It does. Like
Yeah.
I imagined the diesel coming out with all the blood.
All the blood.
Oh
I was
my
immediately like,
gosh.
you're kidding me. Dude.
Yeah.
A diesel truck full of blood.
For
and
bait.
it's just spewing blood all over this junkyard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny that they don't really give you any setup for anything because we're introduced to this character. His name is Dennis, which is Shaggy, Scooby-Doo. His name is...
the Lillard.
Yeah, DeLillard. Wait,
Matthew Lillard.
Matthew Lillard.
That's the Lillard right there.
And he's like having these like spasms and he's going,
Yeah.
doing all these like weird motions.
He's going like this.
holding the back of his neck. And we're just sitting there like, why?
What
What the heck is happening? And then
Yeah.
he touches someone and he gets that like That's So Raven flash
Yeah,
of
yeah.
all of the
All
stuff
their
that's
past
going on.
experiences.
It's like, what universe are we in right now? What is happening here?
yeah.
It just was so bizarre, starting with capturing this last ghost and like showing us so many characters. We get to see the uncle. We get to see Dennis. We get to see freaking Miss
Kalina.
Honey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or what's her name?
Her name's Kalina in the movie.
Okay.
But she is Miss Honey and Matilda.
Yeah.
Wait,
That's the
what?
only reason
That's
why
Miss
I know
Honey?
it. It is. Yes. It's M. Beth Davids, I think is her name.
I'm
What?
blanking on it.
That's the reason why
There's
I
like
know
a
her.
guy that she's with at the time.
Yeah, it's just like, and there's like 100 other guys trying to catch this ghost, and this weird box is coming
it's
down.
like this like special task force or something.
It's weird.
It's
man.
really a task force to capture.
The
ghost.
supernatural. Yeah.
And then you get the whole idea of 13 ghosts. I thought you said 12. And now we're like, okay, there's 11 other ghosts. What the heck is happening?
Yeah.
Man.
And then meanwhile, these people are dying. Like,
Yeah,
Bro,
left and right.
The way they're dying.
One of the things that blew my mind was so they send the blood truck out there and they spray all this blood everywhere, and then we get like the start of the interaction with the ghost is when all those cars fall over, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's a specific aerial shot where there is somebody torn to pieces, where the things fall.
Yeah.
We haven't seen anybody die yet. But there's somebody that's literally like limbs are gone. You see intestines like
Yeah.
everywhere. Like somebody's already died, but we don't know of anyone to have died yet.
Mm-hmm.
So how's this person here?
I don't know. I thought it was like, oh, they're just trying to lure out the ghost. Because didn't they say something about a pig?
I have no clue.
I don't remember.
I don't remember. I know the reason why they had the truck full of blood was for a lure.
It's a bait, right?
Yeah.
But then where did the body come from? Because there's literally a body that's torn to shreds.
Yeah.
And there's blood all over it
I
too.
didn't
Like,
notice it.
I noticed it and I was like, where did that body come from? If
It
no
never
one's
shows.
died yet, like we haven't been introduced to the ghost yet.
Well, maybe the ghost just got him without us knowing.
Yeah, I just haven't seen it.
Well, and that's the other thing too that blew my mind was there's people walking through the passageway when the things fall down and then it crushes a couple of people.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that whole sequence of
No, the best one is when the car swallows the guy.
Oh, it's
and he
so
like folds
funny.
in half and he
Yeah.
goes, oh, dude, it was wild.
Oh.
Yeah, or the guy that gets like thrown up in the thing and then it's just like red splatter on the,
Yeah, into the
on
car.
the windshield.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole time I was just like, what is this action sequence? You just see people flying all over the place and stuff, and then finally we get to see like, oh, when you put these glasses on, that's when you can see the ghost. And it looks bad.
It looks bad.
It
He
looks
just
like-
looks
it
like
looks
a
like
guy
a guy
with
in
like
makeup.
fake prosthetic makeup on.
Yeah.
You're like,
And he's got like red contacts.
it's not
Why
at
is he-
all
why is he
convincing.
gray?
Yeah, it's not convincing at all.
Yeah.
I did like the scene where they get him into that mystical box thing,
Yeah.
and then the guy that's in there is just getting smacked around.
Yeah.
That I was like, that's gotta suck.
Yeah.
That's gotta suck bad.
Yeah. And I wish they kept that going, like where
Mhm.
people are trapped and like they get messed up.
Yeah.
Because we get another scene in the movie much later on where that happens, but
It's
Nothing
The
happens.
satisfaction of that doesn't happen there.
there's no deaths.
No, not at all.
It's like hard. There's hardly any deaths in this movie, which
Yeah.
surprises me. The other thing that I was surprised about with this introduction that I totally forgot was that the uncle, quote unquote, dies.
Yeah.
but he
Like he doesn't die, but it's like it's supposed to be like a shock factor, but it looks real. It looks
Yeah, it looks like he got his neck gashed.
Yeah.
Like,
and he
it's
still has that
sliced.
makeup on the whole freaking movie.
Yeah,
But initially when I saw that, I was like, "Oh crap! I forgot that he dies right here."
yeah,
Like I was surprised that he was like supposed to be. I thought he was supposed to be like the main villain because he's so over the top villainous, dude.
Yeah.
He's like, "I don't care, you're gonna get it." Like
Yeah.
you know, he's so over the top. Like everything you would expect a villain to be, he has it all
Times 10.
times 10.
Yeah.
Like stereotypical villain. And then to see him die, I was like, "Oh crap! I didn't remember this."
Yeah.
yeah. So that's only the start of the film, and that's all set up.
Yeah.
And then
I-
we get like what really threw me for a loop was like after that, then we get the pre-credits, like the credits before the movie where it like says everyone that's in the film.
Yeah.
And it's like these like bright, cheery, like, oh, there's a woman and a child out there playing, and you just see like, honey, I'm home. It's
No,
time
what
for
I hate-
dinner. Like all this stuff.
What I hated was the sister and the brother. You hear a conversation, and the sister goes, "You're the best little brother ever."
yeah,
I was
like,
like,
it's
bruh.
so cheese.
it's so
so-
cheese. It's
and
like, oh,
then-
their life is so perfect.
Yeah, and then like as the camera starts to pan, you hear like, "There's a fire, mommy, wake up!"
Yeah.
Ah. And like you're supposed to be like going through this whole life like while you're slow panning around and
But you don't see any of it. You just
nothing.
hear it.
You hear it the whole time, so it's like how
kinda messes with-
unsatisfying. Like
it's so
you gotta show me.
It's so
Like,
lazy.
Yeah, it's very lazy writing. Like
It's
you
so
gotta be able to
lazy.
show us.
it's straight up just an exposition. Like,
Yes.
oh, this is what happened, but we're not even gonna show you.
Yeah.
You're literally just gonna hear it all.
Yeah,
I think that's for shock factor whenever we see that the mom's in the house.
yeah.
But it's just like
I forgot about that.
it would be so cool that if there was a sequence of like the house burning down and them having to like scramble to get their things and
Yeah.
the mom sacrificing herself or like dying in her sleep or something.
Yeah, something.
It's so unsatisfying.
We don't get
just
that.
Hearing
I
it.
think the only thing we get that shows that or that tells us that she dies is like while it's panning around, all you hear is like, "We're here today to mourn the death."
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, oh, so she dies? Like,
Yeah.
it's just very unsatisfying.
Oh, and
very lazy writing.
Yeah, it's so lazy. I hate the juxtaposition between them and their happy life. And then now to this, like, it doesn't even seem that bad. It just seems like they just don't know how to live in their means.
Yeah.
Like, they have it's like a fine house. They don't need the babysitter at all.
No.
Like, they all just seem like they're just getting in each other's way. And the food that they're cooking, dude, looks like trash.
Yeah.
It looks
Yeah.
so
Sure,
bad.
just like
Bad.
eggs, or I don't even remember.
It's like
what
it
was
looks
that they
like
were
dry
making.
chicken chunks, dude. I saw that and I was like,
How much would it take for you to eat that?
oh my gosh. The whole like transition between a great loving house and now that the wife dies, there's bills everywhere and we
Past
can't
due.
afford and we're living like everything sucks.
Yeah.
And the kid like talking about death,
Death.
and being obsessed with it.
That kind of creeped me out.
Yeah, he's like, oh, there's 13 people that died today from suffocation or something like that, or this one was decapitated, and the nanny is like, oh, it's decapitated, D-E-C-A, like helping him spell the word and all this
Dude.
stuff. Yeah, I my first immediate thought was, we get all these shots that show that like they're obviously having a hard time. They're struggling financially. They live in a rundown apartment. It's crowded. You know, they're eating like trash. Like
That's their own
there's-
fault.
There's stuff that's happening all over the place. And then
Oh.
my immediate thought was, if you're struggling so bad, why feel the need to hire a nanny?
I don't know.
Like you,
The nanny
that's
should
the
be the
first
last
thing
thing.
to go.
And the nanny, it almost looks like it's a family member or something.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't seem professional.
And also, this is the other thing. The daughter who is there at the time, she is more than old enough to help take care of her brother.
Oh yeah.
100%.
So I don't see the need for this nanny like at all. Right off the bat. Like I'm kind of like, why is she even here? Like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
If any logical person would be like, oh man, look, I'm sorry, I gotta let you go. I gotta cut my expenses.
The
here."
nanny literally is the first expense to be cut.
Yes.
And where's she from? Like, She was like, I'm going back to that. She doesn't even live there. She goes,
forget.
She says something like, I'm getting on the next plane and going back home.
I don't know, man. Yeah, she did not need to be in this movie at all. And the funny thing is that the straw that broke the camel's back in this family is the dad. Through the way he falls on the scooter and like, and like spills the coffee on him.
Yeah, I hated how angry he got.
Tell me he's not.
It was such bad acting.
It was so bad.
Like he was just immediately
He goes
like,
didn't I tell you?
and it's like 0 to 100.
It
where
is.
like he was just like, oh man, yep. All right, well I got to get ready for school. And he trips over and he's just like, dang it, I told you not to go. And it's like, calm down a little bit, dude.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to get that angry.
Yeah.
Like it's. We can believe you, like, and you're overselling it a bit, which is making it not believable.
Yeah, and he doesn't seem like the kind of guy that would be
That angry.
that angry. He seems like a very gentle
Come
guy.
on, dude. Give him some slack. He just lost his wife.
That's the guy from
Do we-
Monk.
Is
That
it?
TV show Monk.
It
Is it?
is. Yes, it is. Do we even know how long it's been since the wife
No.
passed?
No.
No.
It had to have been a couple months because he has a bunch of past due bills.
Yeah.
It has to
And
be,
those are like
no, it has to be like at least half a year.
that wall. He had past due, and they only were once a month.
Yeah.
So he had to have been a couple months.
Something.
I don't know.
Maybe the wife just had a heck of debt and then kind of screwed him over.
Just died.
Maybe that's why she died
Oh
in the
yeah,
fire.
in the hospital. Maybe they accrued a
Yeah.
bunch of debt. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Maybe that's the scary part about this film.
Yeah.
Crippling debt.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh man.
But this was the other thing. Whenever we get these like slow motion shots of the lawyer walking up and it's like this like ominous like
dude.
I was like, this is so 2000s,
It
dude.
is.
Like it kind of blew my mind at how 2000s this movie is. If you ever want a picture of what the 2000s were in a movie,
Watch the first 30 minutes of this movie.
just watch this movie in general. Like you will get a feel for the types of people who were popular at this time, the type of music that was popular, the editing choices,
Oh god.
the way things were shot. Like there were even certain shots like during that whole junkyard sequence where like the camera is like I think hanging from like a hoist or something because it's like and it's not like good in the way that like the shot from Lehen is. It's like you see it and it's like they shoot it in this way and then they like fast forward it so it's like all
It
like-
looks messy.
yeah, and the whole time you're just like, this is like discombobulating. I can't
Yeah.
pay attention to anything that's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very strange.
Yeah, and then oh my gosh, I didn't even I forgot a lot about this movie honestly. But when the lawyer comes in, first off I was watching it with Lisa and she goes she was genuinely terrified of this guy as whenever she was younger.
Oh,
she was like,
okay.
I always thought this guy looked like a freaking weirdo. And he kind of does, honestly.
Who
Like
is
no
it?
offense to this guy.
It's like slick haired back, the suit.
Yeah. And he's got
blue
like perfect
eyes,
teeth. He
yeah.
just looks like
He looks like a fake person.
he looks kind of off, right?
Yeah.
So he's good casting there. But when he pulls up the video, dude, they have no like. If it was just the video, it'd be fine. But the video has like this background of like
behind it.
ghouls and like demonic symbols, and nobody notices.
Yeah,
Nobody notices at all.
yeah. My thing that was getting me was when the video kept closing and then opening back up and then being like, oh, one more thing.
Yeah.
Actually, like I was just like, that's not a thing. That's not a thing.
No.
Or like they would be like, he'd be like, I'm actually gonna give you my house or something like that, and they're like, oh well, where is it? My house is located like they're having a conversation.
Yeah.
It was like, this is so unrealistic.
It
This
is.
is ridiculous. Yeah.
Dude, I absolutely hated that whole scene. They pull out that like freaking overly designed key that
Yes.
looks like a freaking
It
like
looks
a
like a-
futuristic.
USB drive.
It does, yeah.
Yeah. It's,
That
yeah.
that whole thing. You know what? I was giving it a little bit of slack from that intro. I was like, okay, this is a weird way to start this, but whatever. And then
Yeah.
we get to see that whole scene. I was like, this is terrible. And when
Yeah.
they get to the place and it's a glass house.
Yeah. I immediately was like,
Heck no.
that's the ugliest house I've ever seen.
Isn't it though? And everyone was
Wait.
sitting
And
there
they're
going,
like, it's beautiful. Oh, I love it. I was like, this house is ugly.
I
Like,
kind of liked it.
there's like
I-
Latin words all over.
No, well, no. I like without the Latin words, of course, and like, but the design is kind of cool, like all glass, and then it gets to you can close it and stuff like that. You didn't think that was cool?
No,
I did not
I
enjoy
hated
it.
it. Dude. I
Man,
thought it was an
forget you guys.
abomination.
Yeah.
Especially when they like. There's a certain scene where you can tell it's like built. There's a part that's built, and then there's scenes where it like will pan,
And it's CGI.
and it's a CG house. I literally told Lisa, I said, they CG'd the house. No! And it
Yeah.
looked horrible.
Yeah.
Dude, it looked so bad.
I specifically think of the ending shot where like the ghosts
it's all
are
like broken.
yeah, well, and the ghosts are like
Walking,
just wandering
leaving?
out into the forest, and they're like, "Oh, we're free!" Woo.
Yeah.
And you see the house, and it pans, and you kind of see the house like
Does it wobble?
shifting. It shifts. It wobbles a little bit, and you could just so tell that it's CG.
Yeah.
And I was like, it looks like somebody like, you know how you can on Instagram when you take a story, and you can like make stickers and like pin them to a video.
Yes.
And like, you know, let's say like your video like goes up and you pin it at a certain point and then it goes back. And like when it goes up and it's like,
Yeah. Like it's trying to stay in that
yeah,
position.
that's what it looked like to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was not good. I'm glad that they didn't do it the entire time. Like they had
Yeah.
actual set build.
Yes.
But man, they tried to get away with it. They did.
Yeah. They're trying to cut their expenses. That's for sure.
They did. Tell me that this wasn't like the most sketchy situation ever.
Oh yeah.
Like they
Let's go out to a house secluded in the woods. You don't know this guy. He didn't like having neighbors. He liked his privacy. You go in.
They
there's,
didn't
like-
even call out. They're like, oh, BS. He likes his privacy. He's literally it's like a glass house. You can see right through it.
Yes. And then whenever we come to find out he was like oh no, that's later. That's later in the movie where we find out like certain things about the house are soundproof, and you can't do certain things in the house because he didn't design it that way and all this stuff. It was ridiculous.
No way. I was so like not in disbelief of how this family was like, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful, and like everyone just splits up and goes their own way in this random freaking house, and
Yeah.
oh man. And we get introduced back to Dennis. He's back posing as an electrician.
Yes.
I'm surprised that he doesn't really even know what the house is built for.
Yeah.
I would have figured that he'd be like his right-hand man.
Yeah. That's the one thing that I really did not enjoy about this movie was the whole time they're in this house, I'm asking, why is he doing this? What's the purpose for the ghosts? What's the purpose for everybody being here and all this stuff? And then we get this like exposition dump.
Yeah.
And like 3/4 of the way of the movie, and they're like, this is why you're here. This is what he was building. This is what he wanted to do.
These
Blah,
are
blah,
all
blah,
the
blah.
ghosts, and we're gonna tell you twice so you don't remember, so you don't forget.
Yeah, and it was just like, that's so much to dump on somebody in like the matter of like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then, and expecting it to like be satisfying that's a jump.
Yeah.
Like that's I almost feel insulted. Like
Oh, really?
like to be like, oh, I bet you've been wondering what's going on this whole time. Here you go. And just like it's like throwing a big bucket of water on you and then being like, okay, hope you don't get wet.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Man, and throughout the whole introduction to this house, they pull that trope where everyone's like, ghosts? What are you talking about? I don't believe in ghosts.
Bro, that's one of my favorite quotes.
But then you see all the knickknacks, and it's all like these like prehistoric items, like ancient items. You see all the Latin all over the building.
Yeah.
You don't think to yourself, oh, this could
Mean
have some
something?
demonicness to it.
Something.
And then he even like outs himself and says, yeah, I worked for him. I collected these ghosts. I know everything this house is about. I want you and your family to get out of here. Like
And he's just like, no.
he's like, ghost, whatever, man. It's like, how could you be more oblivious? This is so ridiculous.
yeah.
Oh gosh.
You know, one of the scenes that drove that obliviousness feeling home for me was the scene where the daughter's in the bathroom.
and she's going,
yes, dude. Yes. And like in certain scenes we see like, oh, it's covered in blood, and the angry princess is there, and she's sitting in a pool of blood, and she's got her knife and like ready to stab her and stuff, and then she's like, I don't see anything. It's all pure water to me. This bathroom is beautiful.
it's so ugly,
Oh.
bro. It's so
That
And it's like-
bathroom is so ugly.
It's like all that like tiled glass. It's trash, dude.
Oh.
It was awful. Like that whole scene, I was just like, come on. Yeah. Like, yeah.
I thought it'd be one of those, like, you know how when you're watching, or in the movie It, when she's looking down the drain,
Yeah.
and then it spews up and like only they can see it.
Yes.
I thought for sure when she splashed the water,
she would see it.
She would like have blood on her face afterwards, but it ends up being nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing at all.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, it's so bad. It's so bad.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. What do you have any favorite scenes?
I don't.
No
I don't-
favorite scenes?
Yeah, I don't either.
The next one I had is when we get to see that lawyer guy. I hate
Bro,
it.
that made me laugh, but it's also a big bro moment.
Yeah.
It's a promo, but I hate it.
When I saw it happen, first off, dude, like they set it up to be like, oh yeah, good, he died. Blah, blah, blah.
He walks
'Cause
out
he
with
goes
the glasses
down-
on. He goes, nice
Yeah.
boobs.
Yeah, dude.
He goes,
Oh my gosh.
Sorry for your
bro.
loss.
Yeah, he's like intimidating all the ghosts and stuff like that, and then they somehow get released, and then all of a sudden he's just like, "Oh, I'm sorry.
He goes,
I
"I was
didn't mean it.
joking.
I was
I
joking. I
didn't
didn't
mean
mean
any of
it."
that."
Well, and then somehow she like gets him to. But dude, I legit had a moment where we see like the angry princess ghost like backs him into a part where a glass door like closes, and somehow this glass is like sharp enough and powerful enough like coming out to split this guy into like vertically,
Yeah.
not like horizontally, vertically, like
Vertically.
to like cross section him.
Yeah.
And perfectly.
And the thing that really got me was when it happened, he was like,
He's still alive.
yes, dude.
Moving his eyes
and
like-
he's just like this. And he's like sliding down. I was like, you're freaking kidding me, dude. There's no way.
Yeah.
And then tell the joke that they tell after.
No, it's one of my favorite quotes. It's my only favorite quote when the babysitter lady, what's her name?
Maggie.
Maggie.
Is it Maggie?
Yes.
They go throughout this whole house, and eventually they go, oh, what happened to that lawyer guy? And they're like, oh, I don't know. And then she goes, did the lawyer split? And immediately
Yeah.
I'm like,
Come on, dude.
I didn't catch it
so
until my
forced.
brother told me about it. He goes, did you catch it? I said, catch what? And then I rewind it, and I said, they really just tried to play that.
Yeah.
They're trying to be like comedy
Yeah.
when we're supposed to feel dread and terror.
Yes.
The whole time I'm sitting there like,
What would you do if you actually saw that, though?
a guy split in two?
Like that. Exactly like that.
I'm freaking out.
I'm freaking out.
But the
I'm
thing
not
about the-
entering that house in the first place.
But the thing is, that would definitely add to the scariness of the movie if they saw what the ghosts could do or what their potential was.
Oh yeah.
But they never.
They never.
The people, when they go down to the basement, they somehow never encounter that lawyer or his dead body. And it's like,
How?
like, the basement can't be that insanely big or
Big.
insanely large or, that hard to navigate without you encountering that thing.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe it's the size of a freaking Target.
I don't know, dude. I found myself like being like, why didn't they encounter him? Like it would have been a much more scary thing, or it would have jumped over the point to, like, these things are to be afraid of.
Yeah.
They look at what they could do to you.
Yeah.
This jumps really far, but seeing Dennis's death scene, I laughed so hard when he gets cracked.
Like
And it's
freaking
like-
Batman and
yeah,
Bane.
dude. And I was just laughing because it's so obviously a dummy.
It is.
And you see I laughed because you see it like ragdoll,
Mhm.
and you see the hands of the dummy just go like when it gets cracked.
Yeah.
I was laughing so hard, and then it cuts to another shot of him on the floor, and he's just like drooling. Oh, man.
And it's like blood, but it's the most thick, like blood that comes out too. It doesn't even look
Yeah.
real. Throughout these whole scenes too, like the kid goes downstairs because he hears voices of, like, I guess it's the firstborn son or something that's calling him, or
I don't
one of the
know.
ghosts is calling him downstairs. So he
And
goes,
she's like, "Come down here, Bobby."
yeah, and the whole time like, oh, don't go down the stairs. So we're getting these like conflicting ideas, but he don't care. He goes down there.
This is the one thing that irritated me too. He has the glasses on the whole time.
Yeah, he does.
How doesn't he see
Does
these
he
fools?
not see them?
They're not that fast. Like they walked by, and he straight up was looking, and he didn't see him.
He's not scared, bro.
It was ridiculous.
He's built different.
Dude, and throughout the whole time too, like whenever they're getting introduced to the ghosts as they're going downstairs to find the kids, they have like the worst glasses etiquette ever, bro. Like they'll see the ghost with the glasses on and run away, and they get tired, so they take their glasses off and they're like, and I'm like, this is literally your only lifeline. Keep them on. I don't understand. Like if you notice, everybody who runs away, they take the glasses off and they're like, woo, we just got away.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're an idiot. Keep the glasses on. There's no reason to take them off.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so bad.
Super funny, dude. Yeah. Any other favorite scenes? I'm sure we'll get to a lot in like bro moments.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I have a lot of bro moments.
Okay. Well, if that's it for favorite scene, then let's get the best quote first before we get into the bro moments.
I only
Man.
have one. And it's when they're at the house for the first time and Dennis finally says, okay, I'm not the electrician. And he goes, I used to study this house. Like, it's going to sound crazy, but we captured Ghost. And the main character, and his name is, we haven't even talked about the main character. The main character's name is Arthur. Criticos.
Yes.
And he goes, Ghost. And my favorite quote, which is this, is Dennis goes, Ghost? I'm like, bro, we get it. It's Ghost.
Yeah, Dennis, man, his last name Rafkin. He is awesome in this. Like he really tries his hardest.
Yeah, he does.
One of my
He poured
favorite.
his heart and soul into it.
Yeah, one of my favorite quotes from him. He goes, "There are ghosts in the basement," and Maggie goes, "This basement?" And he goes, "Of course, this basement. What is it with you people? If it was the basement next door, I wouldn't give a crap, would I?" And I'm dying laughing because the whole time this family is just incompetent.
Yeah.
And he finally is calling him out like, of course, like you're an idiot. Why are you asking me these stupid questions?
That's funny. The only quote that I have that I liked was the interaction in the beginning of the film between Kalina and Cyrus. And Kalina asks Cyrus, "Who are you to play God?" And Cyrus says, "Playing is for children." I was like, oh, man. They want us to believe this guy is just, like, evil. Like,
Yeah.
And, like, he's, like, the dirtiest of the dirty.
It's so weird. They set it up as like she has been like his rival all her life. But then when we get the twist,
Dude, when we get the twist at the end,
I'm like,
I don't remember that at all.
because it's not built up.
No.
It's just a completely random twist of character.
Yeah.
And
It's
I
just
was like,
Exactly.
I literally told Sal, I said, bro, why did she kiss him?
Yeah.
And he goes, I don't know. I said, that's so dumb. That doesn't make sense.
it doesn't make any sense.
And I should have said, I thought he was dead.
Dude, I hated it.
Yeah. Also, Arthur going into the house and saying, "First rule, no throwing stones."
Yeah, that's
Oh, man. That made me like, ugh, dude, like, that's, you're telling me that somebody proofread this script and said, leave it in.
dude.
Like,
Oh.
that's insane to me.
She's from Newark.
Newark, New Jersey.
Yes, because she goes, this is the last line of the movie. It goes, that's it for me. I am on the first plane back to Newark. I'm sorry, family. Kathy, Bobby, Uncle, Ghost. I'm sick of this nanny crap. I've had it. This is not this was not in the job description. I quit. And when I thought about it, have you guys seen the movie Snakes on a Plane?
Yes.
I immediately thought, I have had it with
These
mother
motherfucking snakes.
on
this mother.
plane.
Yeah.
That's what I thought when she said it.
That's funny, dude.
I'm thinking of a quote too from Rafkin. Doesn't he say like, "Yeah, I'm different. I'm built different"?
I don't know.
Really?
If he does, I gotta see it.
It reminded me of that guy from Riverdale saying like,
different.
"I'm weird. I wear this beanie. Can't you tell I'm weird?"
Oh, Cole
Yeah.
Sprouse?
Yeah. It reminded me of that whenever he was saying like, "Whenever I touch someone, I seize up.
Yeah.
Like I see dead people. Yeah, I'm weird." Or what's the quote, dude? It was something cringy like that though.
Bro, look at this quote. This quote says, did I say there's a petting zoo downstairs? No, there's a ghost downstairs, Arthur.
Yeah,
Dude.
I think this is one thing too. Like, we're saying all these lines, and out of context, they sound hilarious. But that's the thing I think that this movie suffers from, is that it doesn't know if it wants to be a horror
No.
Or a
or
comedy.
a comedy.
Mm-mm. It takes itself way too seriously.
Yeah, and we'll get into it a little bit later in other
Yeah.
categories. But any other best quotes here?
No, that's it for me.
Okay, what are some bro moments?
I got quite a few, bro. Let's go
through 'em.
It just made me laugh. The first two we already talked about, which was the truck full of blood and the car eating the guy. My next one,
I put dude getting bent in half.
bro, he literally goes,
Literally gets folded
or he's like this and just goes, and
and then gets
sucked in.
yeah.
How is that a ghost doing that?
I don't know.
That's a monster
That
truck.
ghost is
Somebody.
agile, man.
Yeah.
Up and down.
But my next promo is when Dennis puts the glasses on for the first time. He's in the basement and he's sitting down. I had to laugh because if you pause it at the right time, and luckily I did, because I had to let Sal in the house. He's wearing his electric belt, and his shirt looks like he has a peen.
What?
And yeah, because his legs are open, like full on open.
Oh, and it's dangling.
And it's dangling right there. And all the still is literally that with a bunch of glass.
That's funny.
Tell me how ridiculous it is whenever he takes off his orange jumpsuit and
And he's
got
wearing a
this
suit under.
It's like a ridiculous suit too.
Oh, dude, it made no sense to me.
Made no sense. Like he's not in like civilian.
No, he's not in just like a t-shirt.
Dude,
No.
you
He's
know
got
you're
like a
gonna-
suit with coming out on the sides. It got the long freaking collars.
Yes.
You know he's crusty and sweaty.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, man.
Yeah. What about you? Any of the bro moments?
Oh, I got a bunch.
List them.
The lawyer talking to Ghost when he says, "Nice boobs."
Yo, dude.
I hated that.
Yeah.
Bobby. We didn't even talk about Bobby, who's the boy, who's the son.
Bobby. Okay. Thankfully, he's not in it that much.
No, thankfully, but he's gonna have some trauma.
Yeah.
No, he loves this stuff.
No, dude.
He loves this stuff, man. There's one bro moment I had when the lawyer's name is Ben Moss, and man, I can't remember if it's like I think he goes or he's like driving his car or something, and they do that whole stereotypical villain trope where he's sitting somewhere and then there's just a beam of light across his eyes.
Yes, dude. I saw that shot and I was like, this
like,
guy. Oh, he's supposed to be the bad guy.
couldn't be
Like,
more obvious.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, are you kidding me? When I saw that, had to write it down. I said some CGI was just terrible.
Oh yeah. Seriously. I think of all the CGI with like the gears where it's like turning the floor.
Oh, bro.
And it reminds me of Spy Kids. Like the
Yeah, but they played it off good.
but the CGI in Spy Kids we can say is bad.
Yes.
But that's what it reminded me of. I saw that and I was just like, it looks horrible.
Yeah.
Every time I think of Spy Kids, I just think of those thumb dudes.
Thumbs.
Yeah, thumb.
Yeah.
Another problem, not getting any information about the flares and how they're supposed to repel the ghosts.
No.
None at all.
I think we get like maybe just a little bit.
Do they say something about
in
it?
the beginning at the junkyard? Because that's where one of them gets thrown. But
Do they say
don't
anything about it?
I don't remember specifically. But if they do, I bet you it was just like, give me one of those flares. This will help propel the ghost.
It's just like
It's like the bare bones explanation. Like, yeah, ridiculous.
yeah.
I forget who is it, but somebody flips off somebody. And I said, bro, why is the finger so long? Because you know when we do the
It was-
extendo, whatever.
Yeah.
I literally thought of us when we were messing around like that, Full Metal Alchemist thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Full Metal? Yeah.
That's
And I think it was Dennis. He flips off
He's a
somebody,
slender man. Long
Yeah.
fingers.
and it's long. Like you can tell it's abnormally long. I'm not gonna do it.
That's funny.
Is it one of the ghosts?
Yeah. Yes. Yo, he flipped off a ghost.
Did he really?
Yes, because it was behind the wall.
Oh, he did. He flipped off the hammer guy.
Oh,
The
did he?
sledgehammer guy with all the nails.
Oh, okay.
Because remember, he puts the glasses on and he goes, "Oh, I hate when they do that."
Yeah.
Yes, and he turns around and flips off. It's so long. I want to say it's at least like as long as this.
That's
like-
a long middle
like,
finger.
That's a long.
I kid you
No
not,
way.
bro.
We're gonna watch it back.
We gotta watch
It was
that.
so long.
That's funny.
Oh man.
Another one was Kalina coming out of nowhere.
Yeah,
slipped
dude,
through
that
the cracks.
that pissed me off. When out of nowhere, she's just like automatically in the basement,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Who are you? How did you get here?" And she's like, "Oh, my name's Kalina. I was a very strong opponent of your uncle. How did you get in?" I slipped through the cracks. There's no way we can go back there now.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. It's already gone now. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, and I was just like,
Bro,
"What? They're just accepting that? Like,
Yeah.
are you kidding me?"
It's like,
That's so
we,
lazy.
We need a way for the character to get in there, but so they also can't get out of the same way.
Yeah.
Oh, let's just throw it in there. Like, oh, whatever.
This is lazy.
It's so lazy. Another bro moment I had is when Arthur gets his back eaten out, his back ripped up.
Oh yeah, it just goes yeah.
The jackal.
Yeah, I was laughing whenever he got hit up because whatever he does, he just goes, "Ah, dude."
Okay, and
was
listen to
dying.
this. Listen to this. It has no bearing on the plot. None at all.
None.
Like he gets
does
his
not,
back eaten up.
He does not need to get attacked.
No,
It,
not at
it
all.
would not
Please,
affect
can
his
you-
story at
Can
all.
you-
It's
can
not
you
even. He
please
doesn't
stop
even
saying
walk around
black
with.
eating up?
With a limp like nothing.
He doesn't even walk around like he's hurt. I mean, maybe like a couple seconds afterwards, but then doesn't even matter.
No.
He's like he's his self again.
Yeah.
He doesn't need this. He doesn't need this at all. There's like unless you're gonna use it for something.
Yeah.
But no, not at all.
Nothing.
Another scene too that made me bust up laughing is when they end up using like a part of the house as a shield, and they call him okay,
Dude. Oh,
okay,
yeah.
Captain America,
Yeah.
and they like are pushing their way down. I kind of like tune this part out. I think I think that he gets like backed into a corner while someone else is getting
Yeah.
wrecked.
Yes.
Oh, this is when he
No,
dies.
no. This is when Dennis sacrifices himself because he sees like a premonition whenever he touches Homeboy that he's gonna die.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so he like is like, okay, this is it. This is where I have to like sacrifice myself. So he like backs him in a corner and puts the piece of glass up against him, so it's like a protection spell, so he can't like the ghost can't get him.
Yeah.
And then he basically just gets like wrecked by the freaking sledgehammer guy.
He dies. No, but the scene where I died laughing is when the wife approaches him afterwards, like when they're all being summoned away, and the way he cries, dude. It's like
No.
Yeah.
it reminds me of that guy who goes. You know what I'm talking about?
He goes, he's like, you hurt me so much.
Yeah,
And he
he's
just
like-
goes, yeah. Dude, it's funny.
When Bobby was going down to the basement, and you hear this woman saying, "Come down here, Bobby." I said, to Sal, I said, "Do you think he's gonna hear his mom? See his mom?" And then she shows up out of nowhere, and I tell Sal, "I'm a psychic before anything, because I spoke it into existence." And then the way she looks,
She's all burnt.
she's all
She looks like Two-Face.
dude. It's terrible. It's not even. Doesn't even look good though.
No.
Doesn't even
She's
look like
gray.
she's a burn victim.
No, it looks like if anything, this is going to sound bad, but it looks like they tried to make her look like a burn victim, but it wasn't convincing enough to where she would have died.
No.
Like,
No.
it looks like if she was burned, like, you just have to get some, like, skin from your butthole and, like, put it, like
it looked like a
craft
propane.
it on there.
Have all the wrinkles. I would love that. No, it looks like they slapped like salmon pieces onto her.
Yeah.
No,
Like
more
she
like
doesn't even
prosciutto.
look. Yeah.
Yeah.
She doesn't even look burned at all.
No.
It's like this is so not convincing.
The
I hate
makeup
it.
is horrible.
Yeah.
pretty much with all the designs here.
Yeah.
Man, I'm just running the film through my head. I guess we talked about it a little bit, but I named her Miss Honey in my notes. I put Miss Honey being a traitor and kissing the old dude. And
Yeah.
then
I had that down.
I love the scene of her dying, low key.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is one of the scenes, too. They do it in a bunch of movies where it's like, oh, we're stuck in a trash compactor. How do we get out? And I thought for sure, like, she'd have another character switch and be like, oh, now I'm on the good side. No, bro, she gets squished.
Yeah.
She died.
You see her head open up.
Yeah.
Like it's popped like a pimple, dude. Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Um,
My only other bro moment is whenever Maggie saves the day. I couldn't tell you, dude. I probably had the most like flabbergasted look on my face when. Well, oh, also, dude, we didn't even talk about whenever Homeboy gets thrown into those like razors and gets cut up. Like his whole body gets cut up by those like flings. They're like sitting in the son and the daughter are sitting in the middle of the thing, and there's like all those razors
Oh, he
that are
jumps
going
in
around.
it?
And then the uncle gets thrown in there, and he gets all cut up.
Yes.
oh,
yes.
yeah. Oh,
And then
it
his
looks
head,
terrible.
it looks bad. And
It
then
looks-
his head flies at the camera like
Yeah.
it's a Mortal Kombat fatality.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad.
And speaking
And
about
then-
those kids, dude, the dad doing parkour.
Yeah, how does he not get? He like times it perfectly.
Power of love, man.
like
Family, bro, I'm telling
seriously.
you.
Like he somehow like times it perfectly to where he like is able to get in there and like be with them, and then it like dies down.
It only dies because of Maggie.
And it dies because of Maggie, and literally he's sitting there and like I'm pretty sure he's thinking he's about to die, and then all you hear is like, and immediately when I heard that I was laughing and I was like, oh, remix. And literally we see like, you know, like the big tape recorder, like the old school ones,
Yeah,
and,
like the old
all these like
analog
fader
ones.
dials and
Yeah.
stuff and everything. We see Maggie going like she's DJing the thing.
Yeah.
And it starts messing everything up, and it like somehow messes up the gears and they all fall apart and there's this big explosion that happens. It blew my mind.
No, and I want to know how the heck the house blew up. Because there's a scene and it shows like TNT, dynamite.
Yeah, homegirl Kalina has it.
Yeah.
I just thought because I initially thought they were TNT, and then I was like, oh, okay, maybe they're just the flares.
Oh, it could be
Yeah,
the flares.
Because the flares similar, they look similar to that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know how it blows up. Like the whole thing just
Disintegrates and blows up.
Combusts.
yeah. I don't know. And they survive.
Yeah.
Somehow they survive, and they're literally smack in the middle of all that.
This is the thing too, is that the explosion takes place underground. So if anything were to happen, the explosion would like cause everything to collapse.
It would, yeah.
But nothing does. They're still there, like
At the end, when they're showing all the ghosts leave, it shows all like the metal, and it's like
there's just
fully
no glass.
intact.
There's just
It's
no
no glass.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it, man.
Yeah. Another huge bro moment is whenever the ghosts like happily wander off into the forest.
They're like skipping away.
Yeah.
And it's like, but it's so like the camera angle is so far away, and I feel like there's like no detail on the ghosts either. So it's just like,
Yeah.
People
what are we
ran-
watching?
This is
right
the
here?
this is the other thing I didn't understand. The jackal, the one with the cage on his head.
Yeah.
It's like the most like fearsome one, right? Like all the other ghosts like prance off into the woods, and then she like walks away and just goes, ah, and then disappears. Like, why is she the only one that has to be this like feral one, and then the other ones are just like, oh yeah, nice,
We're
all right,
free.
we're free. You know, it was.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Another bro moment getting because we get the idea of the, what do they call it, the black altar or the black sigil or
Oh, the black and zodiac.
the black zodiac, and she straight up goes through this whole exposition dump where she's like, and this is ghost number 1, this is ghost number 2, and all of their backstory very briefly, and then of course, like as he's about to do the jump, he has like a premonition / flashback, and he's like, oh, ghost number 1, ghost number 2, and he's counting them out, and I'm like, they're doing this twice.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. They don't believe in us to remember the ghosts because they don't show us enough. They
Nothing.
don't give us any of the background.
No.
Like none of that. So they're like, oh, well, we didn't do our job, so we have to tell them twice.
Yeah.
It was so lazy.
But that's it for bro moments for
That's
me.
it for bro moment.
Me too.
Okay, perfect. Let's get into the facts with this movie.
Let me hit you with the budget.
I first off the bat, I just want to say, I think this movie probably killed. For the time it came out, I think it probably killed. So
What? Take a wild guess. What do you think the budget is?
I'll say like 40 million.
I'm gonna say like 16 million.
42 million.
I was
Was
close.
to make this
Oh,
mil- to
man.
make this movie. Opening weekend, it made 15.1 million.
Oh, yeah, on track.
Gross for U.S. and Canada made 41.8 million,
Okay.
and gross worldwide made 68.4 million.
Yeah, so this
Okay.
movie killed.
It
Yeah.
killed,
Like,
but
and it-
barely like made its money.
and this is the thing, like, this is why there are so many bad horror movies.
Because of things like this.
Because, yes, dude, like, these movies get made and they do great in the box office.
But it's also our fault because we enable it to happen.
yes,
true.
dude,
That's
that's
so
why.
true.
That's why the freaking Purge has 7 movies.
Dude, I remember The Purge. Lisa and I went to go watch. We got free movie tickets for some reason. We're like, let's go do something. And we went to go watch the movie. It was The Purge, like the third one. And it was the funniest Purge I've ever seen that we were dying laughing there the whole time.
Yeah,
It's
it.
bad.
It was the third or fourth one.
You know, this movie also
Consumers, man.
reminds me of, which I actually found out the director of this, Steve Beck, would go on to direct the next movie, The Ghost Ship.
Ghost shit.
You remember that movie?
That's news to
No.
me, man. Sounds
Ghost
horrible though.
I remember my cousin talking about that movie and talking so highly about it because it was a scary movie he watched at the time and he thought it was so scary.
2002.
And dude, just the cover alone just looks bad.
The cover.
But
I hate it. It's like Titanic.
but there's like
But
skull.
there's a skull on
Yeah,
it.
dude, like, and this is the thing, dude. Is like these movies killed at the time, and they
Oh, it did.
these
Budget 20 million. Box office 68 million.
exactly.
No.
So these movies continue to get made because they kill in the box office, and they're so subpar.
Yeah.
Like, I also think about like, dude, there's this new movie coming out called like The Devil Within or something like that, and it's about this woman who wants to be like an exorcist, and she goes to school for all this stuff. I've seen that trailer in theaters so many times, and every time I see it, I'm like, this movie looks horrible. Like, it looks so bad, but I know it's gonna kill in the box office.
Oh yeah.
That's same as like Paranormal Activity did.
Yeah.
Because Paranormal Activity, I feel like the first 1 or 2 were okay.
Yeah.
But then after that, what the heck is Paranormal Activity? I think there was like Dimensions or something like that.
Yeah.
Same thing with The Conjuring, dude. Isn't there like
No, I will defend The Conjuring.
all of them? All of them are good?
Besides La Llorona and The Nun.
I don't know, man.
No,
There's
mind.
too
I'm
many
get-
for
I'm
them
getting-
all to
I'm
be
getting
good.
them mixed up. Am I getting them mixed up?
I don't
No,
know.
they're
I don't even know the
probably-
universe.
Yeah, they're probably.
I think it's the same universe. Because, dude, La Llorona,
I
I
heard
said-
it's trash.
it's absolutely
trash.
Bro, there's one scene that I think specifically, and the door to this house. She supposedly based. Also, I hate it because the Llorona is based out of Mexico,
Mm-hmm.
and in the movie, it's in L.A. Out of the downtown L.A. like big old lake or the. Gosh, dang it! Where do Blood and Blood Out? Where they at the very end? What's that? The river.
It's like a
just the
dam.
LA River.
Yeah.
The L.A. River. Yes, La Llorona is based out of there.
Out of the LA River.
Bro, I kid you not.
What?
But the scene that I specifically think of when I think of the La Llorona is this house. The door's open, it's all black, and you just see her coming at you, like coming at you. We were sorry, that sounded weird. And it's so funny. I watched it. I watched it in theaters.
This is the movie I'm talking about that I've seen nonstop. It's called Pray for the Devil.
Dude.
Oh, but it's Prey Prey
for the Devil.
Oh gosh.
And
why
it
does that
looks-
sound so familiar?
It looks awful. Like I've seen so many trailers for it, and it looks bad. But with that, regardless, I mean,
It's our fault.
yeah,
It's 100%
it is
consumers'
the
fault.
It is the people's fault, and that's why these continue to get made.
It already came out.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like it already has it already come out?
It says that it came out.
Okay.
Oh, because I'm on the IMDb. Oh no, release date October 28th,
Okay.
2022.
So yeah,
it's
this is
coming up, man.
this is one of those movies where like people are gonna go out to the movies for Halloween and it's gonna kill, and this is another thing why I think like Halloween or like horror movies get such a bad rep is because they pump out like these like seasonal like cash grabby, things, and they put all these like cheap jump scares in that to like get people a thrill, but there's no true horror that's ever actually built up. And that's one thing that I've come to really appreciate about good horror movies is when they can really make you scared
Yeah.
Yes.
without having to be like, boom, gotcha.
Mhm.
You
I
like-
think like the movie that tops it off all is Hereditary.
Yeah, like, and that's the thing too. Like, I would have never watched Hereditary had it not been for him. But when
I
I,
would have never
watched
watched
it,
Hereditary if it wasn't for you guys.
but when I watched it, I could appreciate how great the movie was, and I also thought about how terrified I was
I know. I want to watch
Yeah.
it again.
in the movie. And it's become one of those things where I'm like, it's almost like The Shining for me, where I'm like, oh man, annual watch.
Mhm.
Like I gotta watch it each year around Halloween time, and like it's just one of those movies where it's genuinely good, and it is also very scary,
Mhm.
and it doesn't rely on like cheap jump scares or anything that it would that is superficial. There's
Mhm.
true horror there.
Yes.
Yeah. This movie lacks all of that.
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah.
Um.
One
Any
of
more
the
facts?
Yeah, one of the ones that I have actually. So in regards to one of the ghosts, the effect of the torso, which is the guy just walking around with no head, it was actually achieved using a double amputee wearing a special black hood that could be used to digitally remove his head.
Really?
Yeah, so the guy was legitimately amputated from the waist down, and they put a black hood on his face to
Yeah.
like get the look of
That is kind of cool.
him. Yeah. And I
Now-
thought that was where CGI actually looked kind of good there.
It did look good, but I'm remembering now. Didn't they only use literally one scene?
Yep.
And they replayed it twice.
Yep.
Of that same torso moving
Yeah.
in the hallway,
Yep.
Yeah.
and then we never see him again.
Nope.
Nope.
Wow. $40 million budget.
Another fact retaining a ghost is so the Juggernaut. We saw the Juggernaut, who's the big guy, right?
He's the
Yeah.
12th ghost.
Yes. So it took 5 hours for John DeSantis to get fitted into that, and it took another 3 hours to remove it.
I mean, I don't know if it was intricate enough to
It looked
to
pretty
require.
pretty like par for the course.
It just looked like a generic zombie. Like
Yeah.
anything in The Walking Dead could do that.
You know what it
5
reminded me of
hours
a
to put
lot was
Gray
Evil,
paint on.
Evil. Yes,
Evil Dead.
it did. It did. It
Reminded me a
reminded me
lot
of
of
one of
that.
those like very first George Romero zombies.
Yes.
I just thought it was wild. 5 hours, essentially 8 hours just for makeup.
Yeah, that's crazy. I have a fact about Miss Honey or Kalina's death. So they were originally supposed to have her death be way more gorier. They wanted shots of her eyes popping out and her brain squirting out.
Bro, that'd have been cool.
That would have been cool.
Yeah, it would have, and that's the thing is like, the one like satisfying death that we get is the lawyer, and then that's it.
That's it.
Like the other ones we see homie getting broken in half, and then like kind of her getting squished a little bit.
They
Like,
barely
it's
show it.
barely show.
Yeah, they were scared. They didn't want to get one of those ratings that would require like, oh, you got to be 18.
It's not,
18
is this
plus.
even in our movie?
NC-17. Yeah, it's rated R.
Yeah. Yeah,
It is.
NC-17. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, speaking of deaths, Dennis is the first main character to die by the hands of a ghost.
Yep.
Which is he the only one to die by a ghost?
I think so.
I
Him-
believe so. Like,
I think he's the only
'cause if
one.
he-
Oh no,
technically the lawyer, he gets killed by glass, not the ghost.
not the ghosts. And then, well, the only other one would be the uncle when they throw him into the spinners.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's the only one.
Yeah.
What else
Yeah.
you guys got?
Another fact that I have is the writing etched on one of the walls in the glass home translates to the Lord's Prayer.
Okay.
Maybe that he used it as protection.
Yeah.
Would like some lore behind that, but
For
okay.
sure. Yeah.
I wish we could know which one.
And this dude, I read this and I died laughing because I follow along with it perfectly. Many viewers complained that the movie had a lot of strobe lights and flashy editing.
No,
Making
you
it-
guys literally texted?
Listen to this,
Dude.
making it physically painful to sit through. And afterwards, I straight up was like, I can't
dude,
handle this.
I understand
I
completely.
can't handle
Like,
this.
dude.
It's so bad.
Imagine all the strobe lights like that, or all the lights, and then Maggie doing her stuff.
Yeah, that's a rave. You're at a rave.
Yeah,
Like-
at that point you are.
Yeah, like. Yeah.
You got glasses on, you're seeing things, you're at a rave. That's your drugs right there.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm laughing. I'm not scared.
Yeah.
This is a comedy now.
Yeah. Any other facts here?
No,
No,
All
that's
right.
it for me.
Well, let's get into what didn't work then.
everything.
So I want to immediately hit it off after that fact with the editing.
Yeah.
It's trash. It's the one thing that I noticed where I thought it was only going to be whenever Homeboy would get a flashback.
Oh no.
But it keeps happening for a whole
Every-
hour and 30 minutes. These like flash cuts, these like slow motion shots of certain characters where like it doesn't even need to be in slow motion.
No, not at all.
Like the CGI is horrible. There are moments where like there's a specific moment where the big exposition dump happens, and you can see a crew member in the reflection of the desk.
What?
Swear. I mean, Alexa pointed it out to me, and she's like, "There's a face right there."
You could see.
And I was like, "No way, are you serious?" And I paused it and rewound it. They shot through the glass, and there's a desk behind him, so it's dark, and you straight up see a crew member's head. Like he's like straight up like this, like, and you can see he's got headphones on and everything.
Oh, that's so bad.
Yeah, the editing's bad. Like there's certain parts where the audio is unsynchronized with their mouths.
Mhm.
Like,
Dude, no.
It
At
is.
the beginning.
yes.
In the beginning, when the kids are playing, when it's all supposed to be happy, you look at the wife's mouth, and she's saying something completely different than what we're hearing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I put the acting is so weak it's not even funny.
No.
The
yeah.
acting sucks.
Like
The
dude,
acting, there really isn't.
exposition dumps out the wazoo. The editing was bad, dude, and even the soundtrack, the music was horrendous.
Did you listen to the credits?
Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, I hated it so much. It took me out of the movie so hard.
No, really. I don't think there's a single thing that's good with this
I'm
movie.
having trouble remembering some of the soundtrack.
It is so
It's okay.
forgettable and so out of place.
Is it like 2000s like rock,
Yeah.
like butt rock?
It's horrible.
Or it's like 3 Days Grace.
It's basically.
I have to pull it up. Like I'll pull it out after we're
Okay.
done recording. But like I'm serious, it's terrible.
Okay.
Man, what else? The writing is terrible.
Oh, the writing. I could go on for
The
days.
writing is god awful.
Okay.
It's so bad.
You got me started. So the writing here is like, it blows my mind that this got past a writer's room. Because
quality control set. Oh yeah, that's fire. Yeah,
dude, it makes no sense to me. Because like when a writer comes in and they write a screenplay, it goes through meticulous amounts of editing and making sure that things get honed and make sense. I don't. First off, I don't care for any of the characters except for Matthew Lillard, who I barely care for, and then he dies in like a super unsatisfying way. The writing is horrible. Like if we've already talked about the struggling. Like if they're struggling, how are they paying for a nanny? Also the lawyer, dying and then not ever encountering his body whatsoever. I also had found out like. There was multiple times we get told that Dennis, anytime he touches somebody or someone touches him, he gets like premonitions of their past or something like that. There are multiple spots in this movie where Maggie touches Dennis on the back, and we never see anything, and he never has any premonitions of her or where she'll be or anything like that.
Yeah, it's only for when the plot requires it.
Yeah, so it was like it totally takes you out of the movie. Yeah,
and that's what I was gonna say. There's so many plot holes and just inconsistencies in storytelling. That is terrible. Like the one we were talking about earlier was when they specifically mentioned that the glass is soundproof. Nobody can hear you scream, right? But then when he gets locked in with the what do they call them? The like half prince or
something like that.
He's the torn up prince.
He's the guy with the baseball bat.
The guy with the baseball bat. He gets locked in there without the glasses. And Maggie puts the glasses on and it is screaming across the way, "Oh, duck, left, right, duck." And he's doing it, and he's getting out of there. But how is he hearing her through this quote-unquote soundproof glass?
Exactly.
That was ridiculous.
That was one of the most blatant plot holes where I visibly was like, how is he hearing? How is he hearing?
It makes you mad.
I got so mad. Like it actually pissed me off. Like, and Alexa was laughing because I was like, it makes no sense. Like, how are you gonna like dump all this movie into all this movie? How are you gonna dump all this money into this movie
and not
follow through with any of the writing and make it good?
Yeah.
Like, I got upset.
I don't know. I didn't really even like any of the action, honestly.
No.
Like whenever the ghosts were attacking, I was like, it's not really like that great.
And
the
you
only
guys
one
know
who
I
ever
love
does
action.
Any damage is the jackal.
Yeah.
And even then, like, the damage isn't really accounted for.
No.
Like, sure, the daughter gets cut up, but it doesn't mean anything.
Nothing.
Like, it's ridiculous.
Dude, that scene where she gets
her
up and she's
like
dragging her.
Here's the thing, too. Like, the jackal is holding her up against the wall. And then the dad comes up.
And he's pulling her legs.
No. Like, the dad comes up and is, like, pulling her legs, but where he's positioned, he would, like, be inside the jackal.
Yes.
And then it immediately cuts to the jackal's like on the complete opposite side of her body, pulling her arms.
Yes.
And I'm like, what? Where's like the visual storytelling here? How is this making any sense?
Yeah, exactly.
I would have loved to see him like inside the jackal's body, just going like, be funny.
Another thing that was, I got really pissed off whenever I saw it. It made no sense for this to be in the movie. It was literally a 3-minute montage showing us just the inside of the house and creepy music.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's towards the end of the film. Like, it's towards the end of the movie before, like, everything blows up and all that stuff. And it's just a 3-minute cut of, like, us going through the house and you just hear, like, and, like, it, like, fades into another shot and you see, like, it's like you're a ghost almost, like, going around or anything. But it leads to nothing. It, like... You would think maybe like a jump scare will come up or something like that because it's like there's no like it's very tense. You don't know what's going to happen, but it just shows us through the house, and then all of a sudden it cuts back and they're like, "We got to stop the gears," and it's like, what was that 3-minute montage for? Showing us the house? Why? Like we've already seen all of it, so why show it us again? But just put this creepy music behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No payoff. Another thing, they don't like, they have all of this, like, especially reading through some of these facts. Like, I suggest if you're curious about this movie, read the facts of the backstories of these ghosts. Because they're like genuinely.
There's potential.
There's so much potential. There's so many good stories in just these little paragraphs that I read. And I'm like, they completely left all of that out. Absolutely all of it.
Yeah.
And I hate that. We barely get any ghost action.
Nothing.
Like, there's so many ghosts that are just.
even see all 12, all 13 of the ghosts.
We see
You do at the end whenever
at the
they're all
end,
holding
but we don't
hands,
get-
singing "Kumbaya" at the end.
but they don't do anything. Like there's that
No.
like overgrown baby. There's the mom. That
Yeah,
doesn't
why
do
is he even in
anything.
it? Why is he even in it?
Just to be like, oh, he's got beans on his face. Like, what? For real? Like, what else?
Yeah.
You reminded me saying that reminds me of Andy Milonakis, the song.
Andy
Oh.
Milonakis.
Yeah.
Smear cream cheese in my gold lock. That, you know what? That's a classic too.
I got
I
bees on my head, but don't call me a
pea
beehead.
Got peas in my head, but
Yeah.
don't call me a pea head.
The little kid with the arrow in his head.
What is he?
Yeah,
Nothing.
He's
For
just
some
there
reason,
to be creepy.
no, seriously, for some reason, I had it in my brain that this was gonna be one of the ghosts that was like genuinely trying to help.
Oh, okay,
And
Because he's a little kid, maybe?
dude. I totally forgot about the lawyer seeing him and going, "How?" Because he's supposed to be Native American.
oh yeah,
Oh.
when he's yeah,
What?
yeah, and he walks by and just goes, "How?"
like before they're all out of their
Yeah, and I was
cells.
just like, "You're kidding me, dude."
No.
Yeah,
It's bad, man.
yeah,
That's why I think I put literally everything does not work in this movie.
yeah, yeah. It's a stinker.
Is that all you guys
It's a
got?
big stinker.
It's a big stinker. Oh, it's doo-doo! It's doo-doo!
That's dude.
Somebody farted.
Yeah, dude, that's doo-doo.
Dude, like I can't see how people would like even nostalgic. Like this nostalgia doesn't even hold up, man.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
Nostalgia, I will say, is a hell of a drug. Like, it can really mask some things, and like, yeah, seriously,
No,
it can really,
no.
it can really like, blind you to some of the impurities that things have. But man, like, if it blinds you this much, I don't know what is gonna help you see.
I remember it being so much better.
Yeah.
Well, what does work?
I have one thing.
Okay.
It made me laugh.
Okay.
Mm.
I think I'll agree with Abe and say that it's not scary. It's
No,
not. It's
no.
not. It's not what it says that it is.
No.
But it's definitely fun.
Yeah.
It's entertaining, and that's the least that you can do in
Yeah.
a movie. The least that you can do is entertain me.
Mm-hmm.
And if you at least do that, then at least I'm walking away and being like, man, that was a crap show. Like it was, this was awful, but
I laughed.
I laughed. I had a fun time like while it was on, but yeah, that was trash.
I want to know what other people think.
like
The only thing that works for me now that I'm thinking about it is the length of the film.
straight
It's
up
an hour
hour
30.
30.
It's
you get
pretty
in, you
good.
get out.
It's pretty good. Like there was a scene where like there it doesn't really feel like the end. It doesn't feel like much has happened. And then I paused it and it was 17 minutes left. And I was like, holy crap, like we're about to be done with the film?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, at least it doesn't overstay its welcome.
Yeah.
It gets in and gets out, which I think works.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Anything else for what does work?
That's it for me.
I see some people saying the design of the ghosts, and I do agree with what they're saying that they're practical.
Yeah.
Oh, imagine CGI ghosts.
It would be awful.
It would be
10 times
absolute-
worse.
It would be 30 times worse, dude. It would be like not even worth watching at that moment.
Yeah. I will say I really do appreciate some of the props and the set design for the actual house. Like showing like the actual like doors close and like seeing how thick some of this glass and steel is and stuff when they decide to actually, show that it's a real thing rather than it's CGIing it.
Yeah.
But
The house is cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed, the set design and the actual like, practicality of whenever they decide to show the full set and not CG it.
Yeah.
So I'll say that works in its favor, I think.
Okay.
It definitely pulls no expenses whenever it comes to that. So if that's it for what does work, then who wins the movie?
I think we can all say it on 3. 1,
I don't even have it.
2, 3.
The Angry Princess.
Arthur.
Matthew Lillard.
Yeah, Matthew Lillard for
Yeah,
me.
for sure. Matthew Lillard,
Shaggy.
Shaggy. Like
Tell me this movie isn't just Scooby-Doo but rated R.
Dude, the whole time I could not stop hearing zoinks. Yeah. I'm serious.
Yeah.
Every time he talked, I'm like, say zoinks, bro. Please say zoinks.
Say
I'll
it,
give you
like,
5.
we got to get out of here.
Yeah.
Dude.
Like,
Yeah.
dude. Oh, man.
Yeah.
I have a story about that, about Scooby-Doo.
Okay, I'll say the Scooby-Doo live-action films are a guilty pleasure.
They
for me.
are. Especially
wanna
the
watch
ones
I
the
love
Spooky
them.
Island
I loved
one.
them as a kid.
Oh,
You're talking about the animation ones?
no.
I want to
no.
watch the
The first one, Spooky Island.
Yeah.
Is that the first one or the second one?
That's the
what,
first.
wasn't
And-
that with Raggedy-Doo?
Yeah, with
Or-
Scrappy-Doo.
Yeah, Scrappy.
Raggedy.
I knew it was.
And then the second one is it's like Monsters something. I don't
The
remember.
Birdman.
Yeah, but I just remember because of Velma. And I remember watching that the second time, the second one when I was older, and I was just like,
The squeaky
yeah, when
outfit
she came
one?
out in the pleather, that latex suit.
You said, hold on.
I was just like,
Hey, she's a baddie now.
I think I like Velma.
She was a baddie back then. She's a baddie now.
Even Daphne too, wasn't it? That girl from Freaks and Geeks.
Yes, that's Velma.
What's her name?
I don't remember. Even in Freaks and Geeks, though, I had a crush on her.
I did too.
Yeah,
Wow, what's her name though?
I don't know.
I don't know. We'll have to,
I'm forgetting. I'm blanking.
yeah.
But yeah, I do have to say the Scooby-Doo live action films are a guilty pleasure for me. I remember seeing the first one in theaters when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Gosh, now you got me thinking about what's her name.
well, while you think of that, what are some themes for 13 Ghosts?
I would think.
Family.
Cricket's here.
I would think you would side with the uncle because he's like,
He's about a bag.
yeah, he's a bag, dude. He's like,
He's
I
a
don't know
bag
about
this is
chaser.
that.
my
I don't know
business.
about-
This is my business, man. I spent my whole life getting these ghosts in this house.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like I'd even sacrifice my family.
I would have sacrificed my family.
I'm just saying. I don't know.
Linda
This
Cardellini?
Cardellini. I don't know.
I'm not
Doesn't
sure.
sound familiar,
that's
but it is
Velma.
her.
This girl, right?
Yes, it's her. Yeah.
She's in La Llorona.
Is she?
Yeah.
Oh
no.
man, stinkers. What about you? You have any themes, man? Can you?
I don't.
think of anything?
This is like a purely entertainment watch. So I don't think there's any moral of the story. or
No,
anything
not at
like
all.
That whenever it comes down to it.
no. Yeah.
Well, if that's it for the themes, what are we rating this?
Nick, go first. I
I
want to know what
gave-
you think.
I gave it a 3.
Okay.
A 3. Like, I don't. It's hard because I say like a 5 is I liked it, but there needs to be more, right? Like,
Yeah.
there needs to be more. I'm giving it a 3 just because I'm never gonna come back to it.
Me
ever,
either.
bro. It's
Me either.
Oh.
I think I might side with you and say it's a 3.
Oh, I
Three,
gave it.
wow.
I gave it a 2.
a
Okay.
2.
I just
Like I it's funny because it made me laugh, and I feel like there's low key some charm about the 2000s whole era, and like how when you put it on, you're just immediately like, oh man, this feels like a Hinder music video.
Mm.
You know, I'm about to watch this and hear coming from the lips of an angel. You know, like hearing that type of music. Yeah, and exactly, and so I have to say, I mean, I had fun while I was watching it.
Oh, dude, I had
and-
fun watching this movie.
But from like a standpoint of like making a great film, this is not it.
This is a flop.
Yeah.
I don't understand. It's a flop. How would I say it? It's not a flop.
It's not a flop.
It's a flop,
It's
it's a
not
flop.
It's not a flop monetary wise. Maybe
Yes.
Just maybe a flop for you, just in general.
It's a flop in
Didn't
general.
land for you.
No.
No.
My child, like the
anybody
childhood in
says-
me, is disappointed.
If
I would
anybody
love to
says this
see.
is a
I would
good
love to
movie,
see you guys revisit House of Wax and see what you guys think.
Oh,
too.
you know what? I was feeling like I should pick that coming up, but there's so many other like good horror movies that I want to return to.
Yeah.
You know what the horror movie that I want to return to now is a White Noise.
I've never heard of it.
Never
Really?
heard of it.
No.
No. It's either House of Wax or Chucky, man. Chucky for me. I want to because I know that those are like more so comedy.
Yeah.
I've never seen Chucky
Me
Dude,
either.
it's
or Gremlins.
Gremlins. I wouldn't say is a
don't
horror
feed after
movie.
12, right, or something like that, or don't give them water. Or
Yeah, you
something.
can't. If you throw water on them, they multiply or something like
yeah,
that.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Or Leprechaun.
Leprechaun.
is
I
funny.
hated Leprechaun.
Yeah.
Leprechaun in space or Leprechaun in the hood.
Leprechaun.
Like
That reminds me of that YouTube video, you know what I'm talking about, where they're like, who also eat the leprechaun? Say yeah. They're all yeah on the local news.
No.
Oh yeah. I
And they're
remember.
like, here's a sketch of what the people saw, and it's like
I know exactly what you're
Straight
talking
up a
about.
guy with a chin beard and a little top hat on.
Dude, we gotta watch that.
Oh man, it's so funny.
Or have you ever seen that movie called The Gingerbread Man?
I think I know what you're talking about. He's like a killer gingerbread man.
It's like
right?
someone like a serial killer gets his blood in the gingerbread mix.
Yeah, and it like becomes alive and starts killing people.
No,
Yeah.
similar to Chucky, but
Yeah.
stupid.
Well, if that's it for the ratings, I mean, that's the end of the episode. So
Yeah.
So we're glad you guys stuck around. Hopefully you guys had as much fun as we did with this.
This is a fun episode.
Yeah, so we appreciate you. If you stuck all the way to the end, leave a like and a comment on the YouTube channels. Hit us with a subscribe. It really does help, and it lets us know that you guys are not only liking what we're doing, but it also lets other people know that this is something worthy of checking out. Again, we appreciate everything you guys are doing. Check us out on the sound platforms. Oh, he looks awful.
He looks awful.
Yes, I remember seeing that cover specifically.
That's
for
Gingerbread
free.
Man. Dude, it looks awful. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry.
That's Ginger. No.
Look at that.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Dude. 2005.
Oh,
That
yeah.
reminds me of Cat in the Hat.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's awful, man.
Yeah, but again, we'll come back again next week with another episode. This time it's going to be with a much better horror movie, in my opinion. And next week we're going to be talking about the movie called It Follows.
Oh, I'm so excited.
It's
about this one.
A24.
Is it?
I
don't-
think so, right?
I don't
thought
think
I don't
so.
think it was.
Oh, it wasn't? I might
We
be
watched
wrong.
it,
I
though.
thought it was
Find out.
Annapurna.
Oh,
if I'm not
Annapurna. Yeah.
mistaken. But it's currently streaming on Netflix, as far as I know. I think that's the last time where I watched it.
Yeah.
And I remember watching this for the first time, hearing a lot about it, and hearing how unique it is, and then watching it for the first time and really enjoying it, and really liking how they handled horror and how they handled this, subject matter and all that stuff that gets handled in this movie. So we're going to be talking about It Follows next week, so go check that out if you haven't, and tune back in next week to hear what we have to say about that movie. As always, this has been the Film Bros Podcast. Thank you, and good night.
Good night.
Good night.